The Brew World Order is an official program of the BrewTubers Online Brewers Club Network, featuring the latest news, updates, and interviews from the BrewTubers community. So sit back, relax, and crack open that freshly made home brew and join us as we get to know the BrewTubers from your favorite online brewers club. And now your host, Leo J. Bailey.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 6 of the Brew World Order, an official program of the BrewTubers Online Brewers Club and YouTube channel. Yes, I am your host, Leo J. Bailey. Short news tonight. We have upcoming a quick little interview with Mr. Nate Pekoc from Under the Table Brewing, a legend in home brewing. And we're going to have a little chat with him later. As far as business news in the club, we had our meeting last night. All is relatively well, I think. We didn't have all of our principal members at the meeting last night, but we had enough. Things are kind of gliding along fairly well. Financials are good. We brought a few more club members in. Welcome. Thank you for joining. I hope you subscribe to this channel. And yeah, the yeast experiments are kicking along. I believe the drop Pekoc Nate is pretty much done. I'm sure that some of the grading will be popping up. The Saison is just about wrapping up. Everybody's been firing off a bunch of videos of that. And the Dubel should be coming along. I figure a lot of the videos will be popping up on that one here shortly. If you don't check out some of the members that we have, please go look at their stuff. I think it's amazing, especially the guys that we've already interviewed. We have Nate coming, who's pretty freaking awesome. Beyond that, we're looking forward to NHC next year. We have some news coming about that. I believe a ton of us are going to be showing up for that. And yeah, keeping it short and simple. Try to save a little extra time for having Nate. We've been going a little longer than the 30 minutes the last couple shows, so we'll try to keep that under control tonight. Beyond that, dig the new banner. Look at that. Look at that. That comes to me from Brandon and Nick from Exit 12 Homebrew. And yeah, they made up an extra banner for me. You have to recall too that BWO comes from Brandon himself. The Brew World Order is a phrase he came up with. I stole it. He allowed me to steal it. I've taken it. I'm not going to keep it because when I step down from this role one day, whoever takes over will more than happily accept this position and the name of the show. So yeah, you know, I think it's awesome. I think the banner looks great. Goes with the t-shirt. Goes with the t-shirt and the hat really well. Go buy a t-shirt. Check out the merchandising page of the BrewTubers Online Brewers Club. Please, we could use the money. Coming up next, we get to have a little chat with Nate. Kick back, get to know him just a little bit. A little introductory kind of thing. And hey, quick message from one of our sponsors, and we will see you on the other side. Cheers, people. Imperial Yeast was founded on the ideal that if you are going to do something, do it right. Through many years of experience in liquid yeast and craft brewing, they understand that home brewers and pros alike need access to better yeast, service, and support. Their staff has decades invested in liquid yeast and professional brewing, alongside countless afternoons and evenings spent home brewing. Imperial Yeast. Pitch right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we have a legend. We have the man himself, currently hailing from Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, down South Atlanta way.
That's right.
A multi-award winner, longtime brewer, yeast experiment king, and the man who created the Dropkick Nate himself. Would you please welcome Mr. Nate Pekoc? Thank you, brother, for being on here. There's not a fake applause or canned applause, and I don't have a live audience yet, so you got me.
Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor.
We've already started chatting, and I already started recording crap, so cheers. Oddly enough, this current starting point right now, both of these beers are mine. What do you now?
you can't lie. He's not allowed to lie. And I'm gambling that he's drinking a Citra wit, or, I call it the T58 Belgian wit. What do you think, brother? I know that you did my Simcoe. It's a different beer.
Yeah, it's nothing like the IPA that you sent. But this is it's different than a traditional wit. I think that the Citra is pulling some new characteristics.
It is definitely not traditional by any means. I think it's 50-50 Bohemian Pills, white wheat, some flaked oats, the Fermentus T58 dry yeast. There is some coriander in the primary, and there was, in the last bit of the boil, there was some orange peel in the last 5 minutes.
Bitter or sweet orange peel?
Sweet orange peel, and it's only about 19 IBU of Citra hops.
Just up front.
I hope it aged well, because it's been in existence for a little bit.
Yeah, actually, it's aging pretty well. I would, if I picked this up in the store and didn't have a date on it, I would drink it. So that's kind of how I judge that.
Hell.
You can taste it. You can taste it. It has a little age, but it's still drinkable. So it's
okay.
It's good.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think Gary's response to it was he didn't feel it had enough bitterness up front. But everybody's got different opinions about it. But
I think the sharpness from the kind of pick up a little sharpness from the coriander and the yeast. Is this the one that you said you weren't getting any pepper? It's
the T58 that I have gotten pepper notes previously, but I didn't feel this one had it.
I'm getting a little bit, but it's subdued. So anyway, good beer, drinker.
Dude, I appreciate it. And more than likely, people, he's just being really, really freaking nice right now. So
no, I'm in a bad mood, so I would tell you.
Oh, you would probably bust my ass. So
it's if I got all flavors, I would tell you though. I would say,
dude, awesome.
This. I half expected a little oxidation just because of the age, but if it's there, it's real mild. So
I gotcha.
It's not hitting me.
I did my own review of this. This is the ESB that was originally kind of based off of Wally's ESB from a while back.
With the Galena?
The Galena. And it's basically the same beer, but he had copper malts and I couldn't get any. So whether it was a good move or not, I have no idea. I like it. It is different again. And I substituted the copper malts I had 6-row. And I put a bunch of 6-row. I didn't have much 6-row left, so I put a little caramel crystal 10. And everything else was the same.
Yeah, it's really light for an ESB. It looks like it doesn't have the kind of
definitely not the darkness. And as far as what they call, as far as Brewfather, what they call an English strong bitter, it falls in their color range. So, I'll take it. It's definitely different, But anyway, I just did a review on that, and I was tickled. I got the carbonation right on my kegger now because I didn't have it cold enough, and it was not carbing well for like all the stuff that I sent you guys and all that. So I'm very, very, very happy with that. So how are you, brother?
It's been a wild week for me with car problems and family and. My boys, it's the first week of school for the kids.
Oh my God.
Both of my boys missed days of school this week because they got sick. So it's been a roller coaster of a week, but
probably gets in the way of brewing a little bit, I would imagine.
Oh, a little bit. Definitely the YouTubing stuff.
I think we chatted offline about that earlier today or yesterday that there's days when it's like
finding time to carve out that few hours that it takes to get all your videos together and assemble them and edit and hell, just shoot in the first place, or thinking of something that is worthy of shooting after a hard week. It's like I'm just gonna sit here and drink a beer and try to turn everything off.
Yeah.
So I had to put a starter in the car. Did that after the full work week. Had to do troubleshooting through the week. My wife flew out of town yesterday morning. So she's up in Wisconsin seeing her brothers, and I'm here with all the kids.
Yeah. Oh, so you got the house full.
I got the house full. My daughter's having a sleepover, so who knows what kind of interruptions we're going to have tonight.
Oh, no.
Hey.
Well, that's all right. If everybody can't handle that kind of stuff with these kind of Zoom meetings and videos by now, man, they need to get over themselves.
Yeah, I told them I had a very important interview.
Oh, it is. Well, yes, it actually is.
That's right.
And, and I even told, it's funny because Dave was a little bit like you when I interviewed him earlier, and he goes, what do I do to get prepped for it? I went, I have no idea. You have no idea that all of this is completely, we wing this. There is no script. I do not write notes down. We just do it. Now, with that said, though, show material, I do have to ask the question. We just did our 2021 yeast experiments. We're now in the phase 3 of doing the Dubels. Are you part of that or not?
No.
Okay.
I was the first two. Obviously, DKN, I was the hub for that. And then I'm in the Saison as well. And I still have a number of those to get to.
Right.
So I'm hoping this weekend I can carve out, 20 minutes to do a couple of reviews.
So it begs the question for anyone that is not a member of BrewTubers, not a member of the club, or they don't get on the Discord and they don't know you from Adam, they don't subscribe to your channel, Under the Table Brewing, by the way. What are the origins? Because I've never fully understood how far back it goes. What are the origins of the original Drop Kick Nate? Where did that come about and how did that begin?
Okay, so Dropkick Nate began as a clone recipe, but I couldn't find a clone recipe of the beer that I wanted to do. So I consulted with, went to the local homebrew shop, and I consulted with the owner there, and we talked back and forth because he knew the beer. We didn't have one to dissect, which probably would have been useful, but he goes, hold on, I need to reach out to somebody. And they used to work at the brewery that brewed this beer. And so I think it was a text. And he goes, oh, he got back to me. Here's what he said. And then, so we kind of went back and forth. So he collaborated with, he and I went back and forth on the recipe. I ended up settling on a little bit of a change up from what he had. And this commercial beer had Eldorado and Galaxy in it. I found out later that it actually had a Centennial dose as well. But my hop additions are completely different, and they actually discontinued that beer. I don't know why. Maybe, maybe the hops were too expensive, but it was on the market as one of their, their annual releases or whatever, continual releases, whatever you call that. Regular beer, rotation. And it was probably out for 5-6 years or so. So it had a good run. And that beer was Sidekick from Two Brothers Brewing out of Aurora, Illinois. They do have some pretty good distribution. Two Brothers is doing really well still. Actually saw a 6-pack of their beer here in the town I live in Georgia. So at a gas station. So it was really bizarre. But anyway, I digress.
That's crazy, dude. So how many years does that go back? How far ago was this?
I started working on getting that recipe together in 2013.
Oh, wow.
Early 2013. And I think, I was drinking that beer before I was brewing. And I think it was one of those, if I ever brew, I want to be able to brew this type of beer. This beer itself, I love the flavor. So, got the ingredients together, and that brew day was the first all grain beer that we made, and my wife is in that one. And there's a video on it. You got to go in the Wayback Machine, but it was our first all grain beer and, crushing the grain on the homemade grain mill.
Wow.
And Dawn my wife did a lot of the, mashing in and grinding the grains and stuff. It was fun. We had a perfect day for it.
I've seen a couple of the old ones relatively recently where, I just drop in to catch an old video after I've already seen everybody else's stuff. And I go, and people like you or Wally that have been doing stuff for a while, I went and popped in, and I think there's at least 2 that I saw that your wife is in. When is the last time she has ever brewed with you?
The last time she brewed with me, it wasn't on camera. Oh gosh, that was 2000 and probably 2015.
Wow.
14 or 15. Yeah, and I had I was recruited to provide beer for a party, a big backyard birthday party.
Right.
It was a pool party. It was great. But they wanted to have plenty of beer, so I ended up making. It all had to be ready at the same time, right? So I think we ended up did 2 double batches. So that's 10, 20. And then we did 3 other beers. So we did 15, whatever that is, 20, 35 gallons in 3 days.
Right.
5 different beers. And so I recruited her for help. And that was I think that did it in for her.
Well, if you go back and you watch any of Nate's old videos, the biggest thing that stands out is, one, the beard has not achieved the stellar capacity that it has now. It was still working in those early stages of just whatever mountain man phase that you've decided to get. I'm jealous, dude. All I have is this, and it makes me look 20 years older than I really am.
Yeah.
And my wife absolutely freaking hates it. She just can't stand the damn thing.
I know I've gone through a lot of different phases. Back when I was early on in the YouTube, I had to I had a goatee, and sometimes I'd have to shave it for going into some of the places I went for work. I had to have a clean face for a respirator.
Oh yeah.
And so I was going back and forth with facial hair, no facial hair, and and then when I stopped doing all the traveling, I was like, screw it, I'm going to grow a beard. And
yeah,
I did shave it last year for 2020.
You freaked me out because you shaved yours. Wally really freaked me out last year when he shaved his.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't have a whole lot. Now, when I grow, if I do anything, you can tell I haven't shaved for a couple of days now. I literally started looking like Santa. It is just without fail, man. I get the whole Santa thing going, and then it just makes me depressed, and I can't handle it. I can't handle it, man. It's like, it's got to come off. And then I want this to actually be longer, but work frowns on that because I'm a technical trainer and I go into the corporate office from time to time, and they don't. They're yeah.
Why they got to be such sticklers? Man?
I know it, dude. But they like my beer, so yeah. My boss. I've actually taken my boss I think I did a bourbon barrel porter a couple years ago, and it turned out really, really well. It was like one of the first beers I did that came out really, really well. And yeah, so you're drinking my damn beer, dude. Cut me some slack. So
my goat.
Yes.
Come on.
All right, folks. We are going to take a brief intermission. We'll throw up one of our sponsors up in this little commercial here. And I can already guarantee you, because I know it's going to happen. I was afraid it might happen to begin with, but this is going to be our first official. Yeah, I'm just going to say it. This is going to be the first official 2-parter. Because this is going to go way longer than we ever anticipated, because it already has, if you want the truth. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll talk about one of our sponsors and we'll come right back. So yeah.
Beer and Wine Hobby are a family-owned business since 1972 and have been providing the world's finest ingredients and equipment to make wine, craft beer, cheese, cordials, and soft drinks to countless individuals. The trained staff at Beer and Wine Hobby have years of experience and will assist you in solving any problems you encounter during the process, and they are committed to providing you with fast, accurate shipping of your merchandise. You can place orders online at their website or shop the store in Danvers, Massachusetts. Beer and Wine Hobby, family owned since 1972.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You just caught one of our sponsors for the BrewTubers Online Brewers Club. You got to see a quick little commercial from the Beer and Wine Hobby. Beer and Wine Hobby. Yeah, Beer and Wine Hobby out of Danvers, Massachusetts. And don't forget to please check them out. Also, I didn't mention it earlier in the first segment, Imperial Yeast. They have become very good friends of ours and all the silliness that we do. And hey, welcome back, Nate, brother. Good to see you.
Hey, thanks.
I'm finishing up my little bit of something. You just poured a new brew, and this is one of yours. What is that?
Yep. This is the strawberry Berliner Weiss that I did.
Oh, nice.
It wasn't
that style.
It wasn't a kettle sour. It was intended to be.
Okay.
But the good belly that I used did not sour, so it sat in the kettle for 36 hours and it didn't drop pH at all. So
really?
I decided to just go on ahead with the boil, and then I used the Philly sour yeast from Lomland, and it's awesome. I was super impressed. And then after it was fermented out,
gorgeous.
Yep. After it was fermented out, I put 3 pounds of fresh frozen strawberries that I pureed and then pasteurized, and then threw straight into the fermenter and let it go for about another 4 days and pegged it.
Wow.
So, yep.
So it leads me.
Yep.
It leads me to the question, brother. You have gotten into much more technical aspects of brewing. You've got, I mean, it's at least from my end, I'm still such a new brewer that, you know, people like you and Gary and Wally, you guys get into so much more technical aspects of it with not just your equipment in general, because everybody's got different equipment, but you really get into the nitty gritty of certain aspects like the beer you just talked about.
Yeah.
Was that something that you ever thought that you were going to start to do, or did it just kind of start to come? And it was a necessity, I should say.
Well, I think it's just kind of my nature to want to drill into to things that interest me and try to learn as much as I can about them. So before I even started homebrewing, I was already doing research on homebrewing for probably about a year. I first read Charlie Papazian's Complete Joy of Homebrewing.
Right.
I forgot which edition, but it's an older one. And then it was from a guy at work who kept hounding me to start brewing. He's like, "You're gonna love it. It's right up your alley. You already love beer, blah, 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 blah." Cause I was already kind of a big craft beer guy.
Right.
Going back into the 90s, I just didn't have a great desire to drink the Bud Light, Miller Lite crap.
Yep.
I still drink it today, but it wasn't my first choice. So I always wanted something with more flavor. It was just kind of what I was always drawn to. So yeah, I mean, even back then I was researching, and the internet was this cavernous library for us to dive into and find information. And but yeah, I mean, I read a couple books, and then I started asking people a lot of questions, and then I found, after the first couple batches, I had some issues, and then I turned to YouTube, and that's how I found YouTube. So that's how I tied into that, and I found Paul Licksteed, Time for Another One, out of New Zealand, and I was just blown away by his technical aptitude for brewing systems, and he built this really crazy, I guess it was a rims, encapsulated rim system.
Right.
It was amazing. Yeah, and then I think you got some write-ups from American Homebrewers Association or BYO. Not BYO, well, maybe it was BYO. I don't remember.
Right.
That's going back a ways too. But and then I just kind of dove in. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start chronicling my, my adventures here. And my dad was a great fit, and he took to the camera really well. And we were a pretty awesome team, and we still are. We still are if the camera ever gets turned on. But yeah, so we'll see. He and I have talked about trying to figure out how to get back into it. It's hard, with so much distance, but
yeah, I can imagine that being the case. And dude, I think that would be awesome if you guys ever get a chance to pull that off. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we should be doing it Zoom or something. Anyway.
Oh, well, yeah, and that is something I noticed here recently because of pandemic and all this crap that we've been through in the last year and a half. We were doing a lot more of that. Even recently, that started to fade off. Everybody's not really doing as many of them, with the exception of Dennis and Matt, who seem to be the collab Zoom kings of brewing right now. I don't know what the hell is going on with those guys, but
I don't know.
They're pulling it off, man. They're making it happen. Oh,
yeah, Dennis loves the collab. Actually, he and I are slotted to do something. So,
are you serious? You got sucked in.
We've been talking about it for a few months, so we'll see.
Oh, that is the best.
And Mash Paddle too. Mash and I were supposed to do an old style. I forgot what it was now. Not old style. That would be fun too. But not a gruet, grisette.
Oh my! Really?
Yeah. And Wally did a grisette. And that's why I want to do one, because his beer was so delicious. And I don't know a whole lot about it other than I think it uses Belgian yeast.
Really?
Far off from that.
There's a couple styles out there that I've been terrified to do yet. I'm still only 5 years or so into this, and I'm about to turn everything upside down because I just ordered my claw hammer system, which I'm going to have to start all over and relearn how to use that damn thing.
I heard that rumor.
Yeah, it's not a rumor anymore. That son of a gun is in the mail and on its way. The Visa. I think it might have dry heaved a little when I pulled the trigger on that one, man. Jeez.
Yeah.
But it's what I've researched. It's all the work that it's one of the rare things that I've ever done where I didn't wing things, which is what I tend to do. I actually put a lot of time and effort in. Going back to what we were just talking about, the YouTube thing is what really changed everything for me. Yeah. Because one, YouTube, two, I ended up running into BrewTubers, which was through Matt. And then through Matt, I ran into all you guys. The non-BrewTuber of the bunch is the little hottie that we all tease about, Miss Sarah Flora, and the claw hammer. But it was Brian from Short Circuited, who actually I first saw him do the review of the claw hammer, and that's where it sat in this little back of my head. And I kind of went, I kept researching all the others, and then I started watching her brewing, and I went, I think this might be the system I want. And then of course I started following Clawhammer, and you watch them brew on their own damn system, and it's like, okay, this is where we're going.
Nice. Yeah.
Leads me to this question is, what are you currently brewing on? Because you've made some changes recently.
Yeah. At the beginning of this year, I'm in another homebrew club, local, the president of Hop Breakers here they're out of Noonan, Georgia. And we have I think we were peaked at about 30 members, and I think we're down. COVID kind of put some people out. Yeah. And then a couple of new parents, new fathers, and so they're kind of laying low. But guy threw out an email and he said, "Hey, I've got an offer. If anyone's interested, let me know." He was selling his second grandfather for $300.
Oh my God!
I jumped on that. So since whenever February or March, I've had that, and I've been brewing on it, and it's great. what I love the most about it is that I can, keep the air conditioning on in the garage and then still brew and not get completely cooked by the Georgia summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind
nice.
of busting me with the propane system, and the middle of winter, man, was just brutal.
I still like the propane, big batches. Okay. I do have more control. I feel I'm just so accustomed to working with the propane in the cooler.
Yep.
Mash tun. But I also have a third system that I've been working on for years, and that is an 3-vessel single tier electric 240 volt, 5500 watt element in the oil kettle, and then Herms full recirculation. I'm closer. Excuse me. Props. I'm closer than I've ever been because I've got it's a kegel setup.
Right.
Both bottom. Sound effects too.
I love it.
I've got the Herms coil all
nice.
ready to bend. It's all bent. It's going to be a weldless system, so it's all just bulkhead fitting. So a lot less worry for sanitary welds and worrying about funky stuff going in. The mash tun is an inverted Sankey, so it's a bottom center drain, which should work really well. I think aid in preventing like channeling and weird stuff through the mash bed.
Right.
So I'm excited. I'm closer than I've ever been, like I said, but I'm also a little ways out.
Yeah.
I have to get my power sorted, and I'm renting, so it's kind of I can't do anything too permanent.
Yep.
So
that I don't have that concern, but we will save that conversation for another day.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time when we have to wrap up what is now officially going to be part 1. And I think what we're going to do, since this is the first time we've done this, we are only 6 episodes in, and we've had to break this up into a 2-parter because why not? So we will come back. Well, we'll talk about that when we do come back, because there's a lot that Nate and I have in common, and we'll start touching on that stuff. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Subscribe, like, check out everything that is Nate at Under the Table Brewing. And we're not done yet, but we're not going to see you again for another 2 weeks. So rock and roll. Cheers. Good night, everybody. And we will see you a little bit later down the road. Cheers.
Homebrew up.